everybody, how's it going? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and this is our daily vlog series. We have just started a brand new week. It is Monday, it is February 19th, and this is episode 101. We've started a whole new century of episodes, basically, is what we have going on here. And so we do have some news stories to go ahead and jump into. So why don't we just go ahead and do that right now? So the number one news story of the day is Magic Leap related. And I know that some of you guys out there are probably a little bit sick of Magic Leap at this point in time. But one thing that I want to explain about this Magic Leap stuff is that you got to understand that there will be occasional explosions of information that will come out about Magic Leap, and then it will probably go back to being all quiet on the Western Front, and we won't hear anything about it for quite some time. So basically what I'm trying to say here is if you're not too interested in Magic Leap, don't worry too much about it, because it'll probably get very quiet on the Magic Leap front in the very, very near future. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this story. So why are they in the news again? We just had, of course, that press conference that happened with Shaquille O'Neal and Adam Silver of the NBA and all of that, and that was last week. So what has happened since then? Well, the news is job listings that Magic Leap has kind of revealed that there could be Magic Leap retail stores at a mall near you. Yes, is it going to be possible that we are going to see Magic Leap retail locations in the same way that maybe you see an Apple store or you see a Microsoft store or any other type of retail location that is selling products like this? We could possibly get actual physical retail locations for Magic Leap. At least that's what seems to be insinuated if you take a look at these job listings. Now, Road to VR had this story, and they talked about how Magic Leap is looking to hire a director of store design, that this person will play a key role in delivering on the promise of Magic Leap's innovative retail experience. And it goes on to mention that you will also be involved in the design of sales event spaces, POP, and shop-in-shop concepts. Now, POP is point of purchase merchandising, is usually what they talk about there. So it does sound, I mean, when you look at all this information, it definitely sounds like Magic Leap is considering having some type of retail locations. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is, unlike Microsoft and unlike Apple, Magic Leap basically has a singular product. They have Magic Leap 1 Creators Edition, which is coming out sometime in the year 2018. Now, obviously, Roni Abovitz did talk about the fact that Magic Leap is not going to be a single product company, that they are going to have several different tiers of their product. But I think it's safe to assume in the early days, they're not going to have multiple tiers. They're going to have Magic Leap 1 Creators Edition. They're basically going to have one single product initially, and then later on in the future, they will have, of course, their hyper pro version, even higher than a prosumer version, and then they'll have a cheaper, more mass market version as well. So they'll have these different tiers, but initially probably not. We're going to have this one product, and you have to kind of ask yourself, is it worth it for Magic Leap to put up retail centers where they're selling an individual product? And not only are they just selling this one product, but this one product is likely to cost in the $2,500 range. I mean, just consider if Microsoft opened up special retail locations just to sell HoloLens for $3,000, and that's the only product that they're selling. Is that the best use of available resources? Because if you go out there and you get retail space at a mall, or you get retail space in a number of these shopping centers and strip malls that are located all around the United States, it is not an inexpensive proposition. You have to pay the lease. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that. You, of course, will have to have it staffed with actual employees that are going to show people how to use these products and all sorts of things along those lines. Does it really make sense for them to do this? Well, the thing that Magic Leap has to concern themselves with is they are selling a product that you really can only fully understand if you actually try it yourself. So they definitely have to get out there, and they definitely have to put this product in front of actual real life regular people so that regular people can put this thing on their heads and they can get an idea of what all the hubbub is all about when it comes to Magic Leap and when it comes to augmented reality and when it comes to light fields and all these sorts of things. Now, I originally assumed that maybe Magic Leap would work out some kind of partnership with, say, Best Buy, in the same way that Sony did this. Remember, before the PlayStation VR was released, Sony had a deal with Best Buy locations where you could go to specific Best Buy locations and you could try out the PlayStation VR well before the PlayStation VR was available. In fact, I remember myself going to a local Best Buy here in Sacramento, California, and waiting in line and trying out PlayStation VR. I remember the very first game that I ever tried on PlayStation VR was Battlezone, and I was pretty blown away by the experience overall, and I got a PlayStation VR pamphlet, and I remember leaving that demonstration thinking I am absolutely buying myself a PlayStation VR, even though I already owned an HTC Vive at that point. You got to put these things out there. You got to give people the first-hand opportunities to try it. Now, one of their problems could be from Best Buy's standpoint that if this product is selling for, say, $2,500, Best Buy could consider it from this standpoint, well, you know, this is a very expensive product. We're not going to sell a lot of these things. Do we really want to dedicate a percentage of our retail space to have Magic Leap representatives come in and demonstrate this product? So maybe there's a little bit of difficulty there. But you got to wonder, how are they actually going to do this? Now, I kind of thought about the idea of mall kiosks. I've talked about this a number of different times before. You go to your average shopping mall and you have all the mall stores, of course, but in the center where people walk around, in the middle, you have mall kiosks. And this is where we buy customized phone cases and all kinds of different knickknacks are available at these various mall kiosks. And the idea is simple. You could have a mall kiosk for Magic Leap where you have basically one or two attendants that are there, they're on hand, and they're giving demonstrations of the Magic Leap technology. And maybe they give everybody a 10-minute demo. Maybe you go there, you sign up. You know, they have different demo options that are available. Like, okay, there's a demo at 2:30, there's a demo at 2:45, there's a demo at 3 p.m. You go ahead, you sign up for the demo, you come back and you get yourself a Magic Leap demo. And then if you're super, super interested, you could probably order the Magic Leap headset right there on the spot. You could pre-order it. They'd have a computer set up. You know, they get your information in, boom, they get you ordered for a Magic Leap headset, assuming that you're so blown away that you're willing to spend $2,500. That's something that could happen. We might see that, but basically, we're just going to have to kind of keep our eyes on this story, but it is certainly interesting that they appear to be heading down this road of some type of a retail presence. It could be a presence within an existing store. They could still work out a deal with Best Buy or with some other possible retailers, maybe the Sharper Image or something like that. You know, find somebody that is already in most malls and come up with an idea where at a certain number of Sharper Images, you could go try Magic Leap. You know, there's different possibilities like that. So we'll have to wait and see as more more information comes out about this. Now, speaking of Magic Leap, I wanted to get into another quick comment about Magic Leap because I've talked about Magic Leap on a number of various episodes and shows. I talked about it most recently on the VR Roundtable episode that just released today. So there's Magic Leap discussion over there. So I'm not trying to overwhelm you guys with so much Magic Leap discussion. But one thing I wanted to bring up is well, I talked about how I'm kind of a fanboy of Magic Leap. I'm really excited about Magic Leap, really into it. But I also wanted to talk about some of the downsides, some of the things that are kind of bothering me in the background about Magic Leap. I don't want it to be all rainbows and sunshine. And I want to say, you know, I have a couple of really major concerns about Magic Leap. First of all, I want to talk real quick about that Shaquille O'Neal video that we all saw. Remember when Shaquille O'Neal was saying, you know, I put on the Magic Leap headset and there's LeBron right there. And he was kind of showing how big LeBron was. And it was like happening on his living room table, or he was watching this NBA game take place right there. And it sounds super magical. It sounds incredible. It sounds like what we want from the future of sports-based entertainment, having actual games that are taking place right on our coffee table. I mean, how incredible is that? It would be super awesome. But one of the things that I thought about is, wait a minute. How the hell are they going to film this? You know, what cameras are they using? How are they going to film these people? How are they going to film a full court 5-on-5 basketball game and actually put that on my coffee table? How are they going to do this? Now, I'm kind of inclined to believe that some of these things that Shaquille O'Neal viewed, these were special segments that the NBA and Magic Leap worked together on filming, where they actually got players together. They must have put some type of markers on them to film them and to get this three-dimensional, you know, how are they getting them as three-dimensional holograms? How are they filming this? That is where I see a bit of a problem here, because I think there's another shoe that is going to drop, that to be able to get people into this 3D reality. I mean, you saw Shaquille O'Neal in that video. They had him in a green screen area. They had all these cameras filming him from all kinds of different angles. Well, how are you going to do this with a real life NBA game? Are you going to put, you know, is the floor going to be green and all the surrounding areas are green? How do you film an NBA basketball game and cover it in 3D? That seems to be a problem to me, because if you look at Intel, of course, is doing the Olympics right now. They have their special cameras that they're using that they've outfitted. Intel has these big plans for doing some really incredible video. But what we've seen so far from all of this Intel stuff, it's basically just 360 video. We haven't seen anything groundbreaking so far, and they got to use all these different cameras to do that. So that is a big question when it comes to Magic Leap. And then my other major concern with Magic Leap is darkness. And this goes to all AR products, because when we think about AR, the huge benefit of AR, the reason that everybody seems to think that AR is going to be the future and not VR, is this idea that you're not in an isolation chamber. That's one of the big negatives that everybody goes to when we talk about VR. A lot of people go into this idea, you know, VR is an isolation chamber. You're cutting yourself off from your family. You're cutting yourself off from your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever happens to be in the headset. You're cutting yourself off from everybody else. You're isolated. You know, there's some negatives there. You know, what if someone's robbing your house? You know, you don't know what's going on. You're not aware of things. And the idea of AR is that you still have your real reality. You can see people in your family. You can see the dog walk across the living room floor. You can see these things because you still have reality there, but then you're putting all this other stuff overlaid into your actual reality. And so that's the huge benefit of AR. Sometimes these AR people will talk about people can see your eyeballs. They can still make eye contact with you and that sort of thing. But if we look at Avegant, if we look at HoloLens, and if we look at Magic Leap, there's a lot of darkness that is going on with these AR headsets. They kind of shield off, like HoloLens has that big visor that goes across you, makes everything really dark. Magic Leap appears like it's really trying to cut off a lot of light to make their holograms appear a lot better looking. And Avegant has those two things that drop down. I don't know how you're going to see anybody, how you're going to make eye contact with somebody using Avegant. I'm not sure how you're going to make eye contact with somebody using Magic Leap. So if the big advantages of AR is that you can see your family and your family can see you, I don't know. You're wearing these super dark glasses. How much of your family are you really seeing, and how much can they really see much of you? So it's kind of like you're wearing these perfectly black shades. You know, there's not a lot of social interaction there. Have you ever had somebody come over and they're the only ones that are wearing these super dark shades? You don't know what they're looking at. You don't know what they're up to. There's still a bit of that distrust there. So I don't know. That kind of negates a lot of the advantages of AR, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and move beyond all this Magic Leap. Let's get into some regular up-to-date news. And so one thing I want to remind people of is Apex Construct. Apex Construct from Fast Travel Games. It arrives tomorrow on the 20th for PlayStation VR. Now we know there is that 1 month delay before it hits the Oculus store, before it hits Steam. So if you are an Oculus Rift player, if you are an HTC Vive player, unfortunately, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines for about a month while all the PSVR players get their crack at Apex Construct. And I've actually been blessed. Fast Travel Games has hooked me up with a review code for this game. In fact, I have it downloading to my PlayStation 4 right now as I record this. So when this show is over, I am very excited because I'm going to get my first opportunity to jump into Apex Construct, get a great look at this game. And tomorrow the review embargo will be lifted. Now, I'm not going to have a review in a single day, but I will definitely spend some serious time with Apex Construct at some point today, and I will have my impressions for you tomorrow, so look forward to that. In more PSVR news, Moss has an official release date. Now, we have heard, I think we've heard about February 23rd as the release date for Moss, or maybe February 24th, maybe February 27th. There's been a couple of dates that have been floating around in regard to Moss, but now we have an absolutely official date. It is February 27th. That is when Moss is going to arrive. And we have a brand new trailer for Moss as well. Now, it'll be interesting to see how well this game performs in the retail market. On PlayStation VR, I think it will perform quite a bit better because a lot of PlayStation VR players are more open to these third-person experiences. They're more open to seated experiences with DualShock 4s. You got to remember, the Sony is selling this $199 PlayStation bundle that does not include Move controllers, but people that grab this bundle, they can play games like Resident Evil 7, and they can play games like Moss, and they can jump into those games right away and start enjoying them right away, even if they don't have Move controllers. So a third-person perspective game, a platformer like Moss, could enjoy a little bit more success probably on PlayStation VR. We don't know if Polyarc may eventually bring this game to the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift at a later date, but we do have Moss coming soon, and it does look quite well. And you know, one other thing I want to mention, and this is in regards to Moss, and this is in regards to Apex Construct. Do you remember a number of weeks ago, I was talking about how the first half of 2018 looks pretty light? Well, I was pretty off the mark with those comments, wasn't I? Because we have gotten Kin, we've gotten In Death, we've gotten Sprint Vector, we have Apex Construct coming out tomorrow, we have Moss coming soon, and then we also have Brass Tactics. I've talked for a number of times. I really feel like Brass Tactics, maybe I'm off on my own little private island here, but I feel like Brass Tactics, when it's all said and done, this game is going to be considered a top 20 VR game, period. Like, absolutely, period. Like, this is a game that is going to be mentioned with the likes of Robo Recall, with the likes of Lone Echo, with the likes of Arizona Sunshine and Fallout 4 VR, and just the biggest Space Pirate Trainer and Vanishing Realms and Raw Data and just some of the biggest games that we've had in VR to date, I believe Brass Tactics is going to be in that mix. It's going to be considered one of the absolute cream of the crop VR games that we have so far, like an absolute must-have kind of game. And so we're getting that game later this week as well. I believe that's coming out on Thursday, the full version of Brass Tactics. So my fear for the first half of 2018 has been very overblown. We got lots of stuff going on. It is a much better situation than I ever thought. That is a beautiful thing. A couple really quick stories before I go ahead and bounce out of here. Doom VFR. If you are a PlayStation VR gamer, you can grab Doom VFR for a pretty good price at Target stores. You can grab the physical version of this game. It is on sale at Target for $19.99. Not a bad deal if you happen to be a PlayStation VR owner that has not tried Doom VFR yet. And you can also order this from Newegg, and if you use a special Newegg code, you can actually get this game for about $17 shipped. Now, of course, that is if you happen to live in a state that does not, you don't have to pay the sales tax. Newegg doesn't charge you the sales tax depending on what state you live in. Of course, technically, you're still supposed to pay that sales tax at the end of the year when you do your taxes. Of course, everybody is official about this, and we all pay our taxes on every little thing that we buy, right? But there is this code. It is EMCPREW33. I'll go ahead and have this up on the screen as well. You can use this code at Newegg when you check out, and you can get the game for a great price. That is Doom VFR for PlayStation VR. Now, in other deals, Onward is the daily deal for Oculus. You might remember that I was kind of snarky about Orbis VR being discounted a whopping $4. That was the last daily deal that I talked about. Well, this daily deal is for Onward. It is on sale for $10. And by the time this episode is uploaded to YouTube, there should still be probably around 14 hours of this deal remaining. So as long as you don't watch this show like 3 days later or something like that, you should be able to still grab Onward for a mere $10, which is a great deal. That is a solid deal. I played Onward when they had that free weekend not so long ago, and it is a high quality game, definitely worth grabbing for a mere $10. All right, folks, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this Monday show. This again was episode 101. This is February 19th. We are in a brand new week, and definitely look forward to our show tomorrow because I will have my first impressions of Apex Construct, which is looking like one of the biggest releases in the month of February. So definitely excited about this. This game gives me a little bit of those what's that game? Horizon Zero Dawn. It gives me a little bit of a Horizon Zero Dawn flavor and a little bit of an Enslaved flavor. Definitely looking forward to trying this game out later today. It's another bow game, and I've been playing a hell of a lot of In Death, which is another bow game as well, a roguelike bow game. So it'll be interesting to kind of compare the mechanics between those two games as far as shooting arrows and battling these different enemies. All right, everybody, I'll see everybody tomorrow for Tuesday's episode. Take it easy. Later.